You're driving along like any other day. The road feels familiar, the engine sounds steady, everything is exactly as it should be, until it isn't. Out of nowhere, a small glowing symbol appears on your dashboard. It's quiet, it doesn't make a sound, but somehow it changes everything. That check engine light. For a lot of people, that moment triggers immediate stress. Questions start racing through your mind. Is something seriously wrong? Can I keep driving? Is this going to cost a fortune? Or is it just something minor that can wait? Here's the truth that most drivers don't hear often enough. That light doesn't always mean disaster, but always means something. And knowing what to do in that moment can make the difference between a quick fix and a long, expensive problem. So before you panic, before you ignore it, before you make any rush decisions, let's walk through what you should actually do first. Because the first step matters more than you think. The check engine light is part of your car's onboard diagnostic system. It's designed to monitor everything from engine performance to emissions. When something isn't working the way it should, the system turns that light on as a signal. It's your car's way of saying, pay attention, something needs checking. But here's where things get tricky. The light doesn't tell you exactly what's wrong. It doesn't explain the severity. It doesn't give you a clear answer. It just alerts you that something has been detected. And that's why so many people either overreact or completely ignore it. Some drivers assume the worst immediately. They imagine major engine damage, huge repair bills, and being stranded somewhere inconvenient. Others go in the opposite direction. They treat it like background noise, something that can wait until it becomes impossible to ignore. Neither approach is ideal. So let's slow this down and focus on what you should actually do the moment that light appears. The very first thing you need to do is observe how your car is behaving. This is more important than most people realize. Is the engine running smoothly? Do you notice any unusual sounds, vibrations, or loss of power? Is there any smoke or unusual smell? If everything feels normal, that's a good sign. It usually means the issue isn't urgent. You can continue driving carefully, but you should still plan to investigate soon. But if something feels off, if the car is struggling, shaking, or making unfamiliar noises, then that's your cue to take things more seriously. In that case, reducing speed and finding a safe place to stop becomes the priority. Now here's something that often gets overlooked, but it's surprisingly common. Check your fuel cap. It might sound too simple, but a loose or improperly sealed fuel cap can trigger the check engine light. Your car's system monitors pressure in the fuel system, and if that seal isn't tight, it can set off the warning. So before assuming anything complex, safely pull over when you can, turn off the engine, and make sure the fuel cap is properly tightened. If it was loose, tightening it may resolve the issue. The light might not turn off immediately, but after some driving, it can reset on its own. It's one of those small steps that can save you unnecessary stress. If the fuel cap isn't the issue, the next step is understanding that the check engine light is often tied to a stored diagnostic code. These codes are like messages your car has recorded internally. They provide clues about what triggered the warning. But you won't see these codes just by looking at the dashboard. This is where a diagnostic scan comes in. Many auto repair shops and even some retail locations offer basic diagnostic scans. These scans read the stored codes and give you a starting point. It's not always a complete answer, but it narrows things down significantly. And here's an important detail. A code doesn't always mean a part needs to be replaced. Sometimes it points to a system or a condition that needs further inspection. That's why jumping straight to conclusions can lead to unnecessary repairs. At this point, you might be wondering, can I just keep driving and deal with it later? The honest answer is it depends. If the light is steady and your car is running normally, short-term driving is usually okay. But okay doesn't mean ignore it for weeks or months. It means you have a window of time to address it without immediate danger. However, if the light starts flashing, that's a different situation entirely. A flashing check engine light typically indicates a more serious issue, often related to engine misfires that could damage internal components. In that case, continuing to drive can make things worse quickly. That's when you want to stop driving and seek professional help as soon as possible. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention: your driving habits. Sometimes The check engine light isn't just about a single failure. It can be influenced by how the car is being used. Short trips, inconsistent speeds, or prolonged idling can contribute to certain system issues over time. This doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It just means your car responds to patterns, and those patterns can affect performance. So when that light comes on, it's not just about fixing a problem. It's also an opportunity to understand how your vehicle is behaving overall. And here's where things get interesting. Many modern cars are incredibly sensitive. They're designed to detect even small changes in performance or emissions. That means the check engine light can come on for something minor, like a sensor reading slightly outside its normal range. This is where patience becomes important. Not every warning requires immediate replacement of parts. Sometimes it requires observation, diagnosis, and confirmation. Now let's pause for a moment, because this is where a lot of people make a costly mistake. They rely entirely on guesswork. They hear a suggestion, read a quick tip somewhere, or assume a common issue applies to their car. Then they start replacing parts without proper diagnosis. This approach can lead to frustration and unnecessary expense. Instead, think of the check engine light as the beginning of a process, not the conclusion. It's the first clue, not the final answer. And if you handle that first step correctly, everything that follows becomes easier, clearer, and more manageable. Now here's a thought that might surprise you. Sometimes, the check engine light turns off on its own. This can happen if the system no longer detects the issue after a few driving cycles. But that doesn't always mean the problem is gone. It might mean the condition isn't currently active, but it could return later. So even if the light disappears, it's still worth checking for stored codes. They can reveal what happened and help prevent future issues. All right, let's shift gears for a moment. Imagine this scenario. You ignore the light for a while because the car seems fine. Days pass, maybe longer. Then suddenly, the car starts running poorly. The performance drops. The fuel efficiency changes. And now, the repair is more complicated than it would have been earlier. This is why timing matters. Addressing the issue early often means simpler solutions. Waiting too long can turn a small issue into a larger one. And that brings us to a final thought. Every driver experiences that moment at some point. That unexpected light. That brief sense of uncertainty. But the difference between stress and confidence often comes down to knowledge. Now you know what to do first. So the next time that check engine light comes on, it won't feel like a mystery. It'll feel like a message you know how to handle. And that changes everything. If you found this helpful, take a moment to show your support. Like the video so more people can find it. Subscribe to the channel for more practical, real-world tips that actually make a difference. And in the comments, share your experience. What happened the last time your check engine light came on? Your story might help someone else feel a little more confident the next time it happens.